It reminds me of like opening up like a thing of biscuits when it pops.
Yeah, okay.
Right,
Let's
here we
see.
go. Sorry.
So it pops open like more.
It pretty much like blows up.
Hello and welcome to Slightly Smoking live stream. I'm your host, Jack Murdoch, and today's guest is Cory Van Valin, magician, comedian, great friend I actually met in Florida. He's from Tampa, Florida, and hilarious guy, always entertaining, always keeping the fun going on. And yeah, I'm really excited to chat with him because it's been a while. Hopefully you guys get some stuff out of this. Cory is a full-time professional magician. And there's the man himself.
What's good, man?
What's up, dude? Good seeing you.
Yeah, good seeing you as well, dude.
Yeah, looking fresh, clean shaven.
Yeah, that was just a mistake. My barber's not in operation, so I had to do it myself, and I messed up. So just got some cleaning up.
I know, I haven't cut my hair for years. No.
I'll tell you, yeah, normally my hair doesn't look like this. Luckily, my hat's kind of came in handy there.
Right, yeah, you got a perfect day for a hat. We're having all bad ideas. Awesome, man. I'm excited to get you on here. It's been a long time. I know I met you, what has it been, like a couple years now? Almost like 3 years I've known you?
Yeah, met you all the way
by way
on my
too
side of
fast.
town.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, man.
But it's crazy how the magic community just hold us together and we're just like family.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, let's dive into it. Let's go into your origin story. How'd you get into magic? What was your first experience in magic?
So it's a cool story. I was trying to impress a girl on a date for Valentine's Day in high school. I'll start it with a girl. So I was trying to impress a girl on a date for Valentine's Day, and went on YouTube, learned all these amazing tricks. I got called into work last minute, and I never went on that date, but I kept the tricks. It all started with trying to impress a girl, but then it just kind of took a life of its own. But obviously, I look back at life, and I see a lot of signs pointing to being a magician, and I didn't realize that till after I was already a magician. So.
Yeah, I've noticed that too for myself, and some people have said that too. Like, it makes sense that you would come into this role. It's not like it was completely random. So what were those things that you saw like before that would kind of like flow into what you're doing now?
I mean, like my coolest thing was like with David Blaine, seeing that as a little kid. You know, it's like that feeling it gave me. Like, I get flashbacks of what that felt like, because it's hard to get that same feeling once you've been into magic for a while. But I'll tell you, it's cool to think that maybe we're giving other people that exact beautiful emotion. Yeah,
no, totally. Yeah, absolutely. People see you. I mean, kids see you. Even whatever age they're at, they see you. They get inspired, and they'll never forget that. Especially in person. When you do it in person, they'll definitely not forget it.
And it's not always, we don't always get the gratification where, like, you know, someone we inspired lets us know. But man, that'd be a beautiful moment if like 10 years down, 20 years down, someone's killing it magic. They come up to me and say, hey man, you're the reason I got into magic. But yeah, that'd be epic.
I know, it's just an honor to have that, to know that you could be that one that inspires that one that may be like the best magician in the world. Who knows? Later on.
You know, even like whether magic or not, like the impact we have on people, whether it's just a simple smile, it goes such a long way.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing I remember with you. I have a great story with you. When I met you at Magic Live, I reconnected with you, and it was awesome. You gave me a room to stay in too, me and Shelby.
Yeah.
But we were going around, we were going to the lobby and here and there, and we went to the gift shop. And I remember you shared some magic. We both shared some magic. Everyone's doing magic. It's Magic Live, right? But I love that you did something that may not have worked, and you still were all about just making them have a good time and making them smile and have a joke, and that's all that matters, you know. And I stay true to that too. It's like, it's not about always having to do a trick or even to do magic. Just to connect and make them smile, make them laugh, you know, have a joke or something. That's really where it's at.
And that's where I'll tell you, it disarms your spectators when your goal is not to fool them, but it's to entertain them, to make them smile. So even that heckler that's like trying so hard to like screw you, if you can make them smile, it's like, yo, the trick doesn't matter. You're smiling. It worked.
Absolutely.
That's kind of like my definition of magic. And as magicians, we all have different definitions, and mine just comes down to a feeling. you know, whether same kind of feeling when you think of an old friend and then you see that friend that day. It's like, I feel like, whoa, that's the kind of emotion I consider magic, where other magicians are like, I need to do something that's godly. I need to do something that no one else can do. And that's great, because I love watching those guys.
Yeah.
When it comes to me performing, I'm like, I do a lot of parody stuff that, you know, it seems like it messed up, seems like a joke, but it makes you laugh. But then typically the trick works. So it throws you this roller coaster of emotions, up, down, left, and right. You never know what's going to come, if I'm joking or if I'm being serious.
Yeah, those are fun when you don't know when it's going to happen, and then it's a good, you know, punchline, and then it's a good, you know, release of tension, and then there's a good effect of like magic, and, you know, back and forth.
Speaking of punchlines,
magic, the best magic and the strongest magic is like that, where it has that release of tension, and then it pulls you back in. You know, because if it's too much, like if it's too much like that, it's kind of like
they start anticipating it.
It's got to be like this. Yeah, that
going,
too.
You know?
Yeah, that too, right? And then they get ahead of the game, and that's, you don't really want that.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the strategy. It's funny when you said the word punchline. In my mind, I was thinking like how that style really lowers people's guards. You know, where they're like, you're not gonna fool me, but then you like mess up, or you just make them laugh. Their arms up, and then when you do the trick, it sucker punches them right in the face in the best way possible.
Yeah, it's definitely like that sucker punch, or like I say, you're kind of like boxing, you're just jabbing, and then you're like undercut.
Magic, bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, comedy and magic goes hand in hand. I think for sure. I mean, when I got into magic, I took it a little serious, which is funny because I've always been into more comedy stuff. But when I got into magic, I got into mentalism and stuff, so I felt like I had to be like this more serious persona. And then I realized I could do that, but it was very niche, and not many people could connect with that. But the comedy aspect, like, everyone loves to laugh. Everyone can connect with that and not take it so seriously, because magic being taken seriously sometimes, some people are like, nah, come on, man, we know it's tricks or magic. And I think if you play that kind of character too, people are like, oh, he's just like me. He agrees with me, but he's still doing amazing magic. What the hell? You know? And
that's where I'll even add to it too, is like the idea of like improv comedy, when you're making things up on the fly, where you're blowing your own mind. Like you say something so funny and you're laughing like, oh God, this guy thinks he's hilarious. This must be funny.
Yeah.
But it's on the spot, it's freestyle, and you know, it really gives a personal touch to whoever's watching, where it's like that line you just said can't be duplicated. Where there are other magicians that everything is scripted from, like, you know, A to Z. It's in its own alphabet, and there's not a lot of room for creativity, not a lot of room for different directions. But that's my favorite part, is all the directions that it can go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So
you know, I was gonna crack this open real quick. I saw this. I saw Justin Flom do, but it's big on TikTok. If you take a soda and you just turn the cap where it's facing the other way, like right now, that's the hole. Check this out. Oh, this is so terrifying every time I do it. It reminds me of like opening up like a thing of biscuits when it pops.
Yeah, okay.
Right, here we go. Sorry.
So it pops open like more.
It pretty much like blows up. I spilled a little bit, but I got a rag. I'm not worried about it. One of these days, I'm going to like take a whole like case of sodas and just burst all of them. So when someone just grabs a soda, opens it naturally, just that happens. Hopefully
I mean, you can't even tell. I was looking at it. It doesn't look like flipped around. It looks normal.
And it's so intuitive just to open it, you know, from where the tab is.
So there's another prank to the arsenal.
It's going to fuck some people up. I can't wait.
You got that, and then you can go into Fizzmaster. No, that's awesome. What was I going to say about, I was going to try to go back to your story. So you were trying to impress a girl.
Yeah, it's funny. I even saw in the comments, someone's like, ladies love magic.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something funny I always hear is, you know, I have a lot of like drunk guys at the bars like, dude, if I could do what you do, I'd get laid all the time. And I'm like, dude, if you're getting laid all the time, you're not going to be as good as me.
Yeah. Right.
Years of celibacy to get this good.
I know. It takes some time. That's probably the most common thing we hear as magicians for guys, from guy to guy. And they're like, you must get laid all the time, man. You must be blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
what I can do is I can go up to the
hottest girls.
I can go to the hottest girls in the venue, and with confidence, know I'm going to approach them and know I'm going to get them laughing and smiling. Now, will I seal the deal and go home with them? Probably not. but at least, you know, make that connection and make them feel good. And especially when you're going to like the highlight person in a venue, like the hot one that everyone sees, and you're making them smile. Well, everyone at the venue is not looking at you. Like, who is this guy? What's his story? How do I get to see this guy?
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you like to deal with, maybe you have those guys that are the tough, maybe you get the macho alpha male, and then they come in, they notice the magic man, and they're kind of like, you know,
luckily for me,
jealous.
my body type is not like threatening, which is, you know, good for me. And I do a lot of like self-deprecation jokes, you know, so I'll make myself look bad, but build this. I'll give you an example. I learned this from Wes Parker at Magic Live, and he's Wes Parker's amazing.
Wes Parker, yeah.
You can see what this is, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a very average size. It's not small, it's average. And size doesn't matter, okay? It's about personality, you know? But very small, very average, whatever you're gonna call it. You give it a little wave. Woo! Alrighty. And then you know, let's see if I can do this. Oh, that looks wrong. That looks wrong. But then it gets cold in Florida, you know, so that ends up happening. So the trick with the alpha guy, I'll do this for myself, you know, I'll put it near me. I'm like, don't worry, guys, it's average. Then I'll move it to the alpha guy. I'll make it big. I'm like, whoa, who needs a person on you? And you're this guy. And he's loving it. Yeah, he's loving that attention.
Yeah, you can have so much fun with that.
Yeah.
Then you
with
can
hecklers,
go around like, look, actual size. No, no, you won't want to push it that far. But
I might use that one.
You
I like that.
need to jazz it up.
Yeah. I found that like the people that are hardest to impress sometimes are the ones who want to be impressed the most. Same kind of play on words. It's like the people that are hardest to love are the ones who need love the most, in a sense. And, you know, if you just kind of work with it and you're able to get to, they'll be your biggest fan, I believe. I'll tell you one of my favorite stories. It was 3 a.m. Out in St. Pete. I had this little crowd. The clubs are closed down. This crowd's loving the magic. This drunken, skeptic guy comes walking up all drunkenly and skeptically. I'm like, all right, name a card. He's trying to be funny. He's like, 13 of diamonds. Now, I had to keep it cool because I had an actual gaff 13 of diamonds in that deck. So you can imagine that amount of preparation. So I'm doing like a little, you know, grab a card, a little classic force, you want to say. The guy drunkenly grabs 2 cards. And it happened to be the 10 of diamonds and the 3 of diamonds.
No way.
By mistake. And I'm just owning it. I have to keep it cool, you know? I'm the magician.
Okay, you're like, yes.
And then, because I knew there was another step, too. So when I took those 2 cards, turned to the 13 of diamonds, man, I shit you not. Like, he must have shit his pants. Like, but he became the biggest fan afterwards, you know? And it's like, instead of, you know, getting all butthurt that some guys try to mess with you, it's like, let's play with it. Let's have fun with this, you know?
Yeah, I think definitely I've had those moments too where they make the show sometimes, and they really want to be that show. They kind of want to be that turning point in the show because, you know, most of the time they just want attention, and maybe also they're used to that attention being that alpha male. So I think if you give them that attention in the very beginning, or just, you know, make them that highlight in the show or whatever, and win them over, that's what they really want. I think when you don't include them, it can be weird, and then for me as a street performer, they can walk off anytime. So it's like, I really want to pull them in. But
that's where I've engaged, you know, people's emotions where, like, let's just say I'm performing for, like, a couple, like a boyfriend and girlfriend. Let's say the girlfriend's really into it. Well, the boyfriend might be feeling a little weird. I give that dude so much attention. I'm like, yo, you're not getting left out of this, you know. I'm going to make sure you feel comfortable. And by the end of it, you guys are both going to be in love with the man.
Yeah, you got to get everybody. Cause if you do start, you know, because some guys do it, the magic for, you know, trying to pick up on girls and whatever. Yeah. They need to find some icebreaker, apparently.
But it only takes you so far. And that's what I think makes the difference between someone that knows tricks and a magician, where, you know, I'd almost consider that definition to a high pedestal. Like, I would, even if someone knows tricks and they call themselves a magician, I'm like, okay, you're quote unquote a magician, but like a magician is someone who really feels and knows and kind of speaks that language, and that's where if you're trying to impress girls, there's a cap, you know. Once you get, you know, that what you know, but to take it further, that means you love it. That means you are here to spread magic to the world, whether it's through cards, whether it's through, you know, approaching people and just saying hello. You know, I think that's the most magical thing is you never know what a hello holds. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know. And you could go so deep in the rabbit hole. There's just so many other paths to go too. And I've met guys that were actually did it for that reason. You know, like, oh, I wanted to pick up on a girl, so I learned magic. And now they don't even care about girls. They're so like about magic. How can
You
more
and
magic?
Shelby are strong, right?
Say it again?
You and your girlfriend are still together and all that, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you guys have an awesome example of a ideal performer relationship. You guys coincide very well. All my relationships. Sorry if you guys are watching, by the way. I know my Instagram, but my relationships don't really work in the magic realm where they'll fall in love with the magic at first. They love the spontaneity. They love making people smile. But then they see a lot of the same jokes, the same tricks. For me, I get that gratification of showing it to new people. For them, it's like, oh, it's the same damn show. And their energy starts leaking into the performance a bit, you know?
Yeah, this is a good topic right now. Like being in a relationship and being a performer. That's something we haven't talked about on this little live stream. So yeah, let's get into that. Just like we were saying, I feel that too.
Well,
luckily enough that luckily enough I do have a partner, and we've had a lot of ups and downs. Like we're doing okay right now, which is good. Yeah. But she obviously fell in love with the magic, like as a beginner, not knowing anything, just layman, and really into the magic. And when you have those people that are really into the magic, like, you know, they appreciate it more. And then eventually I became a girlfriend. But then she's always around me and seeing me do those things, like you said, over and over again, and then kind of catching on. I'm like, oh, this is like rehearsed. I'm like, yeah.
That's where there's a bit where it's like, imagine a collective consciousness where, like, let's just say it's like you and three other people. Well, you're the only one that knows this, and they're the three, you know, unknowing people. Well, then when you have two people that know it and three people watching, it becomes like a wider gauge, and like collective consciously, in a sense, it does affect it. You know, there's still ways where it's amazing. It's still going to be amazing. But somehow there's a mysteryness where, like, all three people are, I don't want to say the word duped, but they're just in awe. But, like, let's say all three people are looking at the one person that knows. It's, oh, there's someone else that knows. I said this phrase yesterday. There's a phrase that someone told me, the Messiah effect. And the way that I'd relate it last night was, you know, when there's two magicians at one event, it cuts it in half. It cuts that all in half. When there's one person that can do all this craziness, it's a different kind of thought process that goes through a spectator's mind. When there's two people, it's like, oh, well, there's many of these guys. Well, you know, how cool is it, you know? And that's kind of where that idea is. And I think maybe a combat, I'm not just spitballing, is if you and a partner were able to both do something that amazed them all. Because now they're like, what is this unit? Who is this couple that they could do this Messiah kind of, like, you know, shit, you know?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm going for too. I mean, because I think in the beginning, like us, me and Shelby would kind of bump heads. Like, we really are kind of we're alike, but very different. And when our likeness is too much, and we're like kind of competing, and we don't really want that. We want the best for one another. But sometimes, even me, like, I'm bringing her kind of into this field, and even for myself, I would be like, I got to put down my ego, because I'll be like, hey, this is my field. This is all the work I put into. Now it's only taken you a couple of years, and you're already here. You know, I put in like 10 years. So yeah, it's a really complex thing. I think you got to definitely have respect for one another and get to really respect the art too, and how it works for people in big environments or any environment. You know.
I'll tell you a funny little story, because when you use the word layman, it reminded me. I brought a girlfriend right when we first started, like, just hanging out, like. Right when we first, I brought it to a convention in Orlando, like a genie convention. It was like Ozzy Wind and freaking other huge names. And I remember Ozzy was performing, and when I see magic that's good, I freak out. Like, I'll run through a jank stage. So I'm freaking out, and Ozzy's like, "Are you a layman?" I'm like, "No, I'm a magician," but she's layman. Yo, that started the biggest fight. She's like, "Did you really just call me lame in front of your magician friend?" I'm like, "No, layman means like a non-magician." She's like.
I know, it kind of has a bad term.
She didn't like being called a
connotation. Like layman, it just sounds like that. Layman. What do you mean I'm a layman?
Why am I gonna be less than you? I'm like, no, it just means you're just not as cool as us. You know, that's all I'm saying.
You're a muggle.
And I'm not worried about her watching this because she blocked me. Like, I'm not you.
So it's true. Even that term does have like a it's a bad, you know, it doesn't seem like the best term to call a spectator. Even like
it's part of their
spectator.
It's like a behind the scenes amongst magicians, all that layman over there, where if someone's like, the other term that I use in a comical sense during my show is, don't worry, you're a muggle. You're a muggle. Like, if this person does a muggle, you know, and it sounds bad, but it just means non-magician, a Harry Potter term. Some people get that reference out of it. But, you know, on a stage show, you can get away with a lot more things on the stage than you can in the close-up settings.
No, it makes sense. Like, muggle is a great way to, I'm sure a lot of magicians use that as a way to use layman or spectator, because it just sounds, it's funnier.
I got a good,
that
like,
reference out,
I got a good, like, Harry Potter bit in my show that, like, it's a play on it, and it's great because everyone is familiar with Harry Potter and how it relates to magic. And I'll even kind of go back to that question, you know, what got me into magic. Not saying that Harry Potter got me into magic, but it did show me something at an early age. I remember my parents taking me to my first bookstore. I was like in 2nd grade, so however old that is. And my dad brought up this book, had like, you know, the guy at broomstick flying. It's like, it's about magic. I thought he said, it teaches you magic. So I got excited. Dude, I started reading that thing, and 3 chapters in, didn't learn the damn thing. Stopped reading it forever. But it did show at that young age, I had this insane interest to learn magic. And, you know, even like, as I remember, like the Masked Magician, when that was on TV, dude, I love that. I don't think it made me a magician, but it might have just fueled my flame just enough to keep it, you know, riding until a point where it, you know, had that tipping point. But I'll tell you a quick joke about Harry Potter if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
What is and I do a lot of dad jokes. That's like
lay 'em on.
And the response from these jokes is typically like I mean, first off, how do you know a joke is a dad joke?
Usually said by a dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it's a parent.
It's a parent.
Yeah, so the Harry Potter one is, what is Harry Potter's favorite way to go down a hill?
I know this one.
He walks.
Or he's rolling.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. Yeah. Yeah.
And what's cool that I've found by telling
That's
people like my best and favorite jokes, they end up telling me their best and favorite jokes. And granted, a lot of people aren't funny, so I have to like, you know, discard a lot of these jokes. It's like, I'm never gonna use that. But once in a blue moon, I'll come across someone like, yo, that's hilarious. I'm writing this down. And
yeah, so you'll literally write it down when you hear it. When someone says, yeah. That's good. I sometimes do that. I don't do it as much, but it's true. The audience or the people, especially after you share something, it doesn't even have to be a joke. You share your magic or a joke, whatever it is. You share something, then they have something to share too. And everyone, at least, not everyone, but most people do have those one good jokes, and they're like, oh, shoot, I'm going to take that, write that down.
I deal with a lot of, you know, drunk people at the bars, and drunk people are very spontaneous, and stuff that comes out of their mouth, especially when there's that momentum going where everyone's kind of in the zone, and, you know, you're on fire. It makes other people on fire, too, so it's good to pay attention to what they say. They might give you your best line that you use forever and ever. True.
No, definitely. I mean, I know I've revamped my show just because of listening to people. I always listen to the audience, and they will come up with a line better than you came up with. Or they'll say a question that you'll think, oh, that's a good question. Why don't I say that too? Bring it up before someone else does it. Because if people are thinking or saying that, you know, it's good if, as a magician, you know, you're always a step ahead. So if you could put that out in the foreground first, you're kind of meeting them right in between.
Dude, I come off very witty because people don't know that people ask the same questions over and over. And I have amazing, outlandish responses to most questions. One of the recent ones that I liked a lot, it was from Doc Easton. He said it. But like people would ask, oh, can you saw her in half? You know, trying to be like funny. And you saw her in half. I'd be like, nah, man, with my luck, I'd probably get the half that talks. You know, the one that stops and argues. That'll be my luck. I love that response.
Right, we hear all those lines like and those questions like, oh, can you make my wife disappear? Or I usually wit something out of there. I don't have anything great for that, but I always have like, yeah, it's half now, half later, or like, oh, let me call my people, or I don't know, some cheesy stuff like that. I know, it depends on like the environment too, and in your character in that moment. I feel like I've used mine because I use it more on the streets. So I'll say like, yeah, if you could help me out with the body bag. Yeah. So I say it kind of like serious and stern. I even like too, like
answering like very simple questions. Oh, so what's your name? And they'll be like, oh, Tabitha. I'm like, oh, that is correct. It's so subtle and just like, yeah, it is correct. Okay, that was different, and they get that sense, or like, where are you from? I'm from my mother originally.
Yeah.
Then I'll even tack on that. There's a video. I didn't watch the video. It was on Pornhub. I'm like, Mom, that's not Dad. I hope my mom doesn't watch this. She's never heard that joke yet.
Oh, that's good. No, I remember
But it
when I
does make
first met
normal
you too, actually, at the
interactions
magic shop, and I knew that you were a worker because of that, because I was instantly like, oh, where are you from? Oh, originally my mom. I'm like, this guy, of course. I know. That's good. That's good, because it's true. We were always getting those questions all the time, and we got to have fun with that. I mean, I always give them the truth at the end, but in the beginning, like, oh, how long you been doing this? Where you from? Blah, blah, blah. You have all these like stock lines that you do for yourself. And I think that shows, like you said, it shows your character, your wittiness, you're like on point, and it also shows your professionalism, because they now could click in their head and realize, oh, he probably gets this all the time.
Yeah.
Then I think that's when I'll start opening up and being like real, like, okay, yeah, no, I've been doing this for like, because when people ask me like, oh, I've been doing it for like, I don't know, 1,000 years? I don't know.
I like that answer. I mean, I was like, what, today's Tuesday? So I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
I like the 1,000 years one. I might throw that in. I'll even tell you.
Yeah, and I would say, oh yeah, it's the magic that makes me look so young.
Hey. I'll say one of my favorite lines to approach people, and I said this to other magician. He's like, "Yo, I'm writing that down," and like I'm gonna like on my ego on this, because it's not for just me to use. It's a great thing for anyone to use. I love going up to people. We all have our cool ways of going up to people. It's not like it's gonna be your only line that you use, but I go up to people that are mid talk and be like, "Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you guys, but they paid me to interrupt you guys." and when people recite that, like, oh, I'm gonna use that, and they try it, it's all about the pauses sometimes. There's a lot of ways to use those pauses, because when it comes to attention getting to strangers, and that's where I'm writing an ebook about the art of approach and how to approach complete strangers, whether a magician or not. But that pause, it creates like once they're hooked for 6 seconds, because now they're curious what you're gonna say next, and then you make them laugh, they're already hooked. If you come up, hey, can I show you magic? That was like a second. And they can reply with a second saying no.
Yeah.
So if you've already had them for 7 seconds, and then you make them laugh, it's gonna always be yes. And it's like a subtle psychological thing, but there's a lot of science to approaching people. And I feel like that's one of the things I'm an expert on as a magician. I'm not the best at tricks. I'm not a creator, but my ability with people is what I consider as my strongest suit.
Yeah.
And I think that's just as important. If they like you, the magic doesn't matter. If they don't like you, your magic doesn't matter. It's about getting them to like you from the get-go. Yeah.
I love that saying. It's totally true. You got to get them to like you for them to like anything you do, or else they're not going to care. So that's good. That's good to know how to approach people, and I look forward to seeing that ebook. People, look it up. Follow him, Cory Van Valin.
Hey, I'll put it on charge in a second.
Yeah.
Let me do some tricks real quick.
Yeah, dude, I love it.
Yeah, so I got my merch. It's pretty cool. Got the shirt red.
All right.
Let me do my shameless plug first, obviously.
Dude,
I got my hat, #MagicAF, all that fun stuff. The cool thing with the shirt, and this has been a goal of mine, a dream of mine for years, is I always want to have a shirt merchandise, but something that got people to look at you and got people to compliment you, like where it stood out. And you've met me many times when I'm rocking my my mirror time, and on my website, I'm kidding, I'm not selling this.
I was gonna say,
but this mirror time,
probably could start selling. I
probably should, to be honest. When I wear this, people are constantly looking at me. People are constantly like, "Yo, that's a nice tie." I'm like, "Yeah, it's because you're in it." They got the cheesy jokes.
Yeah.
So a big red flashy shirt kind of gets that going. But let's just do some random tricks real quick.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, because it's funny that you mentioned the shirt. I'm working on a bunch of designs right now for Slightly Smoking, and I'm coming up because we want to do more stuff where you can do magic that you literally wear, so you can be doing revelations and whatnot. And I'm just having fun with the ideas, and so yeah, if you want to ever collaborate, I'm here.
Dude, it sucks. During this quarantine, I've been like, because So I was supposed to have a show and it got canceled. Now it's where I was going to sell both.
Like everyone else. Yeah.
So I've been wearing my stuff all. So if anyone buys a medium shirt, don't be surprised if it smells like that.
Yeah, right.
You buy a hat, it's got hairs in it.
You got it.
Like little bunny rabbits.
What's a sweat stain?
I got shot glasses, but I got a cool trick of that a little bit later with shot glasses.
No.
But during this quarantine, I've been smoking a lot more, which
Oh, you're taking it up now, huh?
Well, no, picking it up, man. I've been
Picking it up.
I've been running with that for a bit, but I did find a new, healthier alternative. If you take a cigarette,
man,
so much faster, saves you time. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you just snorted that in just a second. You don't even need your smoke breaks will only be a minute now.
Exactly, and because I'm so busy during this time, all this free time definitely. Just making stuff up now.
You must feel soothing and relaxed now, or you probably have a crazy head high, huh?
It only lasts like a minute, so I'll be over it in a sec.
That's great.
The other fun, obviously I have time to learn Rubik's Cubes, which obviously I've known how to do this for a while, but
yeah, I haven't
this
for that.
There's a dirty joke with this is what's the commonality between a Rubik's Cube and a penis?
Complicated? I don't know.
There we go. I like that answer. Well, the more you play with it, the harder it gets.
There you go.
Someone earlier was saying, everyone gets a turn. I'm like, what? My favorite answer, though, is some girl's like, I can finish yours in a minute. It's like, the cube? Really? I mean, I can do it in 3 seconds with one hand. The cube.
3 seconds? All right, let's do this.
The cube, not the others.
Oh, yeah, totally not now.
Yeah, if you take a mix-up cube and you just throw it behind your back and catch it, boop, it solves itself.
Oh, the catch is more impressive. Damn.
Dude, I'm waiting for the day that I drop it on live stream. It's gonna be.
Oh, that was awesome.
We kick the jack. Dude, it's hot as hell in Florida. I don't even know why I'm wearing a jacket.
yeah, right.
What's the weather out in Cali for you?
It's nice right now. We had a little hot week last week, but now it's kind of cooling down. It's like 76 probably right now. It's
Dude,
nice.
I'll tell you, man. Well, first off, Cali is always the one time I went out there, the best weather every single day. That's what I enjoyed about it.
Year round, no complaint.
Florida without the humidity.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, summer it gets hot, but it's not like you don't get the humidity, you don't get the super dry heat. Unless you go inland, it's a little drier. Yeah. But I stick next to the beach, so that's awesome.
There you go. Are your beaches open?
No, they reopened and then they closed down actually just a couple days ago on Thursday.
Ours open up tomorrow.
People running out, going crazy, And
Yeah.
it just got worse, so you know what to expect.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, this whole quarantine, I consider it definitely a blessing. This is definitely this opportunity. We get to do this, Other creators get to collaborate with other creators, and we have the time to do the things we've always wanted to do.
Yes, I feel way more motivated and inspired during this time. Even though it's not too much different than what I did before, but I guess before I was missing that inspiration and motivation. And it's funny now I do because of this platform really for me, because now I'm taking it a lot more seriously, and it's like, what else do I got going on? So now this is making me want to do stuff every day. Every day I have these live streams from magicians all around the world, and I'm doing it for you're probably the 40th guest or something. We've had so many people. It's been awesome. I'm not even keeping track, but it's keeping me busy. I'm like, okay, I get people
keep you stimulated and.
So it's good. It feels like I have more work than before. I mean, in the way I did the magic and did shows, but now this is a different type of work that I have fun with. And then, like you said, just connecting. This is my favorite part, is that now I'm connecting with my family here, my magic community.
Are you part of the All Things Magic group on Facebook?
Say it again?
Are you part of the All Things Magic group?
All Things Magic? I don't think so, no.
Dude, I'm fucking adding. They do daily corn streams with groups of magicians, all parts of the day. It's a fun thing, man. I've enjoyed it.
I'll check it out. All Things Magic on Facebook?
Yeah. I can invite you very easily. I'll say this too, because this is a thing I kind of got to self-reflect and realize is there was a bunch of goals I had that, I was obviously too busy to do. If I only had more time. Well, now that I have all the time in the world and I'm not doing them, I'm like, all right, maybe I should just scratch that goal, create more mental space. Because if I'm not doing it when I have all the potential to do it, maybe it's not that important to me, So I'm able to look at my goals and kind of find out which ones are the most important ones.
Yeah, it's really a time you sit down with yourself and you really are focused more than anything, because you don't have all these distractions and the world's not moving like it normally does. And even for myself, I found that too. It's just, now I'm really weeding out. We're doing that really deep spring cleaning, like getting rid of all the stuff that, what are we gonna do, you know, or those thoughts too that we were holding on to. It's like, they don't serve us.
It's funny you were saying too, spring cleaning, because in the beginning of this, dude, I had this momentum. I cleaned every crevice, my closet, my drawers, but you can only do so much spring cleaning physically, you know.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, all right, what am I cleaning now? Like, there's nothing to clean. It's all pristine. But, you know, I every single day I've been finding something to look forward to, something to wake up to, something to just get me in a direction. Because if I wake up without that, I'm just kind of like walking around aimlessly, like, you know, with a dart, not having a target, you know, just like, all right,
Yeah.
where's my goal?
Yeah, and that's okay. I think some people are like also feel lost and they don't have a direction, and I think that's okay too. Not to push people on that, you know, side to be like, you should be busy now, you should be doing what you love, blah blah. It's like, well, some people have been working so hard, like the average Joe, they don't even know what they really love in a way, and so now they're finding time for themselves, and you know, watching a great show or listening to music, and then they're finding what they really like. And then eventually they start creating more. And I've been noticing that. Just from the average, you know, people are now coming together, creating things with other people. And I that's what I noticed the most, is that community, you know, that we're building here, but also just in everyday life all around us. You'll see people coming out, wanting to help one another and check in with one another.
That's the biggest root too, is finding what you enjoy. Finding not what you enjoy, but just what makes you happy. Like what, and it could be something that your logical mind saying, well, there's not a job with that, or there's not it's not about that. It's about just doing happy. You know,
Yeah.
there's this like idea that smiles don't result from good things as much as they result in good things. If you're doing stuff that's getting you in that state, I'm not gonna lie, I woke up this morning, dude, I was exhausted, like an hour or two before this thing. But then I noticed, I'm like, all right, I'm not moving. Okay, let me get some motion in me. Let me just like do some of this. Let me just hop up and down, because motion creates emotion in that sense. So if you're doing, if you're doing something that gets you gets you in that state, dude, it's a train. It just keeps moving forward in that direction, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mentioned that too, even before like doing a show. I mean, that's something we should be doing, like, because there's sometimes we're waiting before a show behind a curtain or whatever, and you're sitting down and you're waiting and like 10 minutes, but then you're all still and you're not really energetic. So it's, I mean, many professionals do like their reps of breathing or movement and all that just to get going, because they need to get on that stage with all that energy. If they come out and they're all like this and they come out, then there's that low energy. So you really hype it up. And even when you're doing anything, like you're saying, like coming out of bed, like it is important to like just to do some sort of exercise, or for me, like I do a lot of breathing meditation, so I'll wake up, that gets the blood rushing, so I'm like awake.
Yeah, I do my breathing meditation. I call it tobacco. It's horrible. It's horrible. Totally kidding. I don't do that in the morning, but
yeah, whatever works. You know, people have their own method to the madness, so work with it. 100%. People are finding out what it is right now during this quarantine. They may not have realized what it may be.
And that's the coolest thing. It's the biggest reflection. You get to look at yourself and how I've even been seeing it, like, let's say in the monetary sense. So like, obviously I'm not making the same money I was, but I'm also not spending the money I was. But my mentality going into this, and this is something I've held on to for a while, is let's just say like you played the lottery. Let's say you find out in the morning you won. Sweet. Is that money in your account right now? No, it's not. But now you have that freedom. Like, all right, well, I can do what I want to do right during this time because the money's not an issue. I've been kind of treating this time as like, let's just say I had $1 trillion. I couldn't travel right now. So it's not like, that's the first people's answer. It's like, I'm going to go travel. You can't do that now. So if you had $1 million, what would you be doing? And you'd find out, like, whatever you would be doing is probably what you should do, you know? It's living that kind of state, something like that. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a trip, like you said. This is that perfect self-reflection time, and to go inside, since we're stuck inside, so go inside farther in yourself and fill yourself out, like what your purpose. I think a lot of people are finding their purpose in a way, And a lot of that is just being and not like thinking so much. That's the biggest problem I found out for myself and the majority of this world, is that we complex things and overthink, and we put ourselves in the hole, which we don't even need to belong.
We're people of habits and routines, and when those routines and habits are taken away because, let's say, jobs, it's all right. All right, now you got the time, and you got to look at yourself. I see some more people jumping on. I got another cool trick if you want to see it.
Yeah, do it. Hey, we'll be sharing this too, so people could replay this. So anything you want to share.
So I've played a lot of rummy with my parents, and they obviously don't let me deal. I don't know why.
Yeah, I wonder why.
You can see the cards here, yeah?
Yeah. Regular.
Would you be impressed if they all vanished?
Yeah.
Me too. I gotta learn that one. Take a survey for later. Now you see it. Now you don't.
They're all the backs and the fronts. Well.
Yeah, I did that to a kid's Pokemon cards. He was not impressed. He freaked out. But name a number 1 through 9.
1 through 9. 3.
3. Diamonds or clubs?
Clubs.
So if I did this right in my hand, 3 clubs.
What?
Well, that's because they're voice activated. It's brand new technology.
Dang, that must be an expensive deck.
Yeah, it's 2020. You know, we're living in the future.
Well, that was great.
You know, with all the obviously the quarantine, I've adapted and developed a virtual show, which is pretty cool. Where
I was going to mention that. Have you been doing some virtual shows?
Yeah, awesome. All different kinds. Zoom parties, you know, whether jumping on other people's Instagrams. I've been playing a lot of virtual Cards Against Humanity, which has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've heard that's been a big thing. That does sound like fun. Why not?
It's cool seeing people's faces, and you get to connect with people from all over. That was madness. What the hell? I think I got to show that person another trick.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a good trick for the virtual. It's an observation test. You get 5 seconds to look. Now try to remember the order if you can, okay? Try to remember that order. What was how many cards did you see?
5.
Yeah. Off to a good start. What was the bottom card?
Blank.
Ooh, see, no. It was an ace. But I kind of fooled it because it has all that blank space. What color was the backs of the cards?
Blue.
Oh, see, no, they're red. And if you missed that, you probably missed the royal flush.
What? Okay, yeah, we definitely can't play cards with you.
Yeah, don't test me in poker 2.0. That was a magician.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so fun. So I've noticed too. I've been playing around because I haven't done too much. I've been doing a lot more interviews and Q&As, but I've done a couple shows, and it's so interesting, isn't it? Without having the audience, and I do a lot of in the hand stuff, so it's like, shoot, what do I gotta switch that around now, and work in this.
Well, I'll tell you too. Mm-hmm. Yes. Also, I like this kind of style the most, where there is someone live engaging.
Yeah, I think so too. Because if you don't have that other box, it's
right. Yeah, I'm performing for like an inanimate object, and you don't get that gratification of that smile. You have to just trust that people are at home laughing, smiling, and amazed.
Yeah. And then
without seeing it. Yeah.
With the Zooms or any other platform, it's good to have that little box because you see the spectator reacting. And people connect with that person. And without that, they're kind of like, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. And get my phone on the charger because, dude, I've been having the most epicest of times where my phone will die during a Zoom session around.
Luckily, I know it happens. It's happened a couple times on this. Now I know I always keep it plugged in when I do it.
Yeah. Let's get another trick in.
Show me what you got.
So, what's cool is, obviously, this has been pretty smooth. It's not like any laggy, but I've been on a couple things where it gets laggy,
Yeah, it's been fluid, yeah.
You know how awkward it gets, like when your face freezes at like a certain moment, and it's an awkward moment, and thank you, but a little play on that.
That's awesome, yeah. I know. So, what sort of fun things have you been putting together for the live stream shows? What type of magic are you looking at now?
Well, I got the big scale thing in the back. I'll tell you something.
Are those the bottles? Multiple bottles?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, multiple. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you something really neat on that topic was right when the quarantine was first kind of happening. I had a buddy reach up to me and say, "Hey man, have you ever heard of a comedian named Andrew Schultz. I'm like, nah, I haven't. He's like, all right, well, super famous. You should hear about him. He's doing a thing called Corona's Got Talent. And he talked about wanting a magician on there. And so that day I reached out, and then I jumped on. Dude, there was 3,000 viewers.
Wow.
At one moment. Like right now it shows 6, maybe, you know, maybe less, a little more, who knows? But it was 3,000 at that one moment.
Yeah.
I did like a 2-minute set, and I can't remember the last time I performed for 3,000 people, but that was a highlight for sure. And I got mass amounts of following from that. And then I jumped on a couple other people with mass amounts of viewers. And my social media has been growing more now than it has
than ever.
Well, out and about sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is where a lot of the magicians now are putting on that old grief about calling out virtual magicians or social media magicians or YouTubers, whatever. And now they're hopping on board because they realize this is the route to go in this moment. I mean, you can't perform in person anymore. It's all through this.
It's neat how it kind of leveled the playing field where the greatest magician and the amateur magician, we have the same amount of gigs right now. You know?
Yeah, this is like the greatest like equalizer of it all. Like, and it's something I've always wished for, even growing up. Like, I always like, I mean, yeah, the classes are different. They're still poor and rich, but like, I can't wait till there's a deep. And I feel like we're gonna get to that point where it's gonna be even a deeper equalizer. I think this is just like the beginning, like test of the balance of humans, and I'm curious to see where it's going. But it's awesome. It's really pushing us to adapt and evolve because that's what we're supposed to do.
That's right. I've read the concept where it's like, you know, let's just say everyone in the world had the same amount of money. Well, give it time, and the people that have the money will have it again. You know, in a sense, whether it's through their habits, connections, resources, whatever it might be. And that's kind of like, this is a cool refresh button for everyone, because sometimes debt could really just be slugging someone. It could be like trying to run in mud or trying to run in muck, you know? You know, during this time, there's that potential. Let's say if you're a tattoo artist and people aren't coming in for tattoos, well, maybe you should start working on some Corona designs, you know, like, you know, some funny, like witty meme kind of tattoos. And that's just an example for tattoo artists. You know, how can we use this time as an opportunity? There's always a seed of opportunity hidden in misfortune, you know?
Yeah, with every disaster is a new opportunity. Yeah. Yeah,
you just got to be aware of it, because if you're not aware of it, it's hard to stumble across something you're not aware of. You know, it's like if you know it's out there, even if you don't see it, you'll come across that. It's just kind of having that mentality, well, that kind of consciousness that there is something beautiful hidden around us. And you'll just pick up on it when you do.
Yeah, no, I love this, man. I wanted to quickly touch bases. I know you got to work with Julius Dean. How was that? How was consulting for that?
Dude, it was gorgeous, man. I learned a lot of things about life somehow, but also as the magic career in a sense.
I'm sure that even helped you doing this too, because he does a lot of video. So
yeah. He doesn't do too much live stuff. But I'll say that the coolest thing that I was able to pick up from it was the power of having a strong team.
Strong routine?
Just having a strong team in general. And
a strong team.
We were out in Cuba, and obviously none of us spoke Spanish, so you know we had to have a translator. Well, you can get any old person to be a translator. He didn't do that. He got his buddy who was charismatic. He looked like a model. Josh, if you're watching right now, he had that energy to him. So instead of just filling the role of a translator, he got someone that filled the role of translator and just epic, you know?
You're good translator, like almost better than him.
yeah, just has that charismaticness. And then you had, you know, the filmer, Lee, if he's watching, you fucking rock, Lee. He's a magician. He's got the personality. He's also got the Irish accent, which really is awesome. But everyone on the team had not just a role, but they just were A+ team members. And when you put all these people in one collective for one goal, bro, it accomplishes goals. So that was one of the cool things. And
I've been saying that a lot. Teamwork makes the dream work.
100%, man. Dude, it's when you synergize with certain people, what is it like they say, like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
And you get someone that's like-minded. You almost built like psychic bond in a weird sense. But like, dude, the stuff that comes in the conversation between you and someone like-minded just creates something bigger than both you guys. And that's what I've kind of been applying in my life as much as I can. I got my buddy, Mr. Paparazzi. I don't know if he's watching or not, but he's my film guy. Couldn't have asked for a better film guy, man. He's got the right mindset. He's tip top.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely about that. I see that with any great career, whether in show business mostly, is the team behind that person. I mean, a lot of people, they see that one guy, but they got to know there's a dozen other guys or girls around that working to make that happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, like
I'll give an example.
Chris Angel, all these guys have a huge team of all the greatest magicians that we look up to, you know?
So I remember at Magic Live hearing Justin Willman, the guy from Magic from Humans, obviously.
Yeah.
Awesome. He was speaking. He was saying he took 3 hilarious comedians that knew nothing about magic and took 3 magicians that weren't funny at all. Huh. And he just sat in the room with all 6 of them. All right, what are we going to do? And that's where a lot of the concepts came from that show. You know, take someone hilarious, and it's just, I think the ability to make people work together well, alone is a huge strength. You know, if you can own a steel company, like the biggest steel company in the world, and know nothing about steel. But if you know how to make people work together well, you got yourself a company that's, you know, Fortune 500, who knows. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, a lot of good variety shows. So what sort of work did you do with him? How'd you contribute in the team? So
Cuba, it's funny, the role that I play for him, I would love to find a me for myself.
For you.
I like what I did for him. I want one of those. And so let's talk. The topic of magic is, you know, the stuff that I do that slays in person at my gigs and, you know, street magic slays in person doesn't translate to video magic, and that's because, you know, there's a lot of edges that you can see in a video when you rewatch or watch it that you just don't see when you're just immersed by it in person. So the stuff you do for video, it's got to be visual. It's got to be fast. It's got to, you know, have no edges. And sometimes those tricks to do in person aren't practical. You know, it's not a thing I would do at a strolling gig because you have to set it up. And then when you do it, now you have to reset it. And there's no time for that, you know? So for the video, what he would get the energy up with people with something. He'd find the right audience. He had a little test method. Get the right audience, get their energy to a certain level. I'd hand him a trick ready and good to go. He would do the trick. He'd hand it back to me. I'd hand him another trick right away. And I reset this trick, put it away. And I kind of was able to read the audience of it to know, all right, what's the next trick to hand out? So it just kept a really good flow. Obviously, the cameraman had to be on point because let's say it's an attractive girl that reacted great. But let's say she had nice legs and the legs aren't in frame. Well, that's not going to be a clip that's going to be used. There's a lot of things that he had in his mindset. And I'm sure he's not watching right now, but like, I don't know if he wants to tell me about this, but a lot of cool mindsets that he has behind the scenes where it's not an accident why he's as thriving as he is. You know, to really capture the framing right, it goes a long way. I'll give you one other example too that I learned on my own is if you have a video that you're trying to get in that social media magic game, dude, subtitles. Bro, how many times have you been in the bathroom watching a video and you can't have it on loud, but if there's subtitles, you're following along.
Yeah, no, I look into it definitely. I noticed that. That's definitely helpful.
Is that headlines are pretty cool. You know, having a call to action at the end is really important. Where instead of saying share this to promote me, and that's essentially how it sounds when you say it wrong. Right. Say that share this to amaze your friends, and that to them sounds like, oh, I get to amaze my friends by sharing this, but really it's helping you out. It's how you can word it. If you leave that out, you're missing 50% of people that could have shared it. You know, having a good call to action is important. Obviously, a thumbnail. That was the fun thing with him. It's like, yo, this is gonna be a thumbnail. Like they'd find the thumbnail, and it's a certain moment. Right. He's probably at this point intuitive with it, where he can just get a sense. Where like for me, I'm like trying to think logically. All right, this is why this is good. He's probably got a good sense of it. But there's a strategy to thumbnails. Yeah, and nowadays you could put that little like. And I notice people put a picture. They'll take a picture that's related but somewhat outrageous, and then they'll put it on there. Yeah, it's that split-second picture just for the thumbnail. Almost like clickbait in a sense. Yeah. I've heard, you know, the clickbait like it might get you that instant gratification, but it won't be like long term because people will just distrust everything from there. And I think longevity is important in all angles. Like you can get rich by like scratching and pulling and tugging, but you're ruining all your connections. I think real richness is building genuine connections that last a lifetime, and having those resources and networks in a sense. Because let's say you earn $1 million and lose it, you can earn another $1 million. If you win $1 million and you lose it, good luck winning another $1 million in that sense. It's who you become and that path that really makes you something. Something like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. This has been a great talk. I know. Let me check on the like 3 more minutes.
Okay.
Any
I got a 3-minute trick.
Last advice you want to give? Anything,
okay.
And then you could put in your plugs right after that.
Yeah. My favorite quote always has been, you never know what a hello holds. Say hello to people. You can be so surprised. In someone's mind, you might write someone off like, oh, what can I learn from that person? Sometimes it's not about you. Maybe you could say something to them that changes their life. And the dominoes effect, the world has a really weird domino effect kind of way to it. But you'd be surprised what you can learn from anyone. There's always something out there to that could change. All it takes is one day, one moment, one person to get your life on a whole new track. To shift it in a certain direction, and better, whatever it is. But all it takes one day. And just being aware of that. Last part of this is my favorite mantra that I tell myself all the time is, I'm at the right place at the right time right now. And just to remind yourself that, whether you have like a token in your pocket, or like a rock in your pocket, every time you touch it, you remind yourself that, it allows you to be in the present moment. And that's where the magic really exists, is in the present moment. And you're going to be able to recognize the beautiful opportunities that are in front of you once you're aware that I'm supposed to be here, nowhere else. It's exactly where I need to be. So that's the coolest thing I can forwarding advice in a sense.
Yeah, 100%, man. This is all we got. It's right here, right now.
Dude, I'll tell you, I don't know how long you've been on this chat, but I think I did like 2 or 3 tricks. Dude, this whole conversation has been magic. It's been my definition of magic.
Same. I mean, this is all I'm doing right now. I mean, even throughout all these live streams, most of the time we're just really connecting and just getting to know one another more. And of course, we'll share some magic. It's what we do. It's going to happen. We can't hold it back. So I appreciate your time, brother. I hope you take care of yourself. Be safe. Keep sharing the magic. We love it. Can't wait to see more, and can't wait to see your little PDF too. Your book. What's it called?
The Art of Approach.
The Art of Approach.
And if anyone wants to buy a shot glass or a hat, vmagicv.com/shop.
Yeah, check them out, guys. Hey, thanks again, Cory.
Thanks, Jack.
See you soon. Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
And thank you guys all for tuning in. It's been an awesome time. Cory Van Valin, great guy, great friend, great magician, comedian, all the above. Check him out. We'll be sharing more of this on our store 24 hours. Then we'll be making a YouTube video soon, so you can rewatch it later too. Until then, let us know how we're doing, guys. Check out our site, slightly.smoking.com. We got lots of new stuff for you. Keeping it rolling, staying busy. I'll be working on some designs today. And yeah, look forward to more.